Yeah, we so thought about that, Christina, but then we had so many other thoughts in addition. So I'm recording. Hi, everybody who's seeing
I'm
us
recording
right
and
now.
I went live.
Hi, we are live?
Somebody's echoing.
Yeah, I am. I want to go and share us before we do anything else.
Absolutely. So if you've tuned in a little early, remember we start at 8, but welcome to the Caribbean Edge. And we're just busy sharing us so that everyone has the opportunity to tune in. Mark, you could probably share us too, so all your fans will see you. How about this cold weather?
How do I share that?
You'll
I can
see
share it for you if you want.
on his page.
But after, yeah, on his phone. I mean,
Oh,
I
that
can't,
was-
yeah. There's no way. Oh,
No
we
way.
should edit the live from Mabel. Dawn.
Yeah.
We should definitely edit that one.
Can I get on line here?
No, you cannot. What do you
We're
mean?
live right now on the set.
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, sorry.
Do you
It's
have
gonna
like- do you
affect
have like-
your.
No,
It's gonna
not
affect
right
the
now.
plan, yeah.
Before, yes, not now. Yeah, because we're live. We're actually live.
But you could. You want me to share it to your page for you? To your.
Hold on.
You know you can do that easily. Hi everybody, we're just kind of sharing in the groups and the pages and where everybody else, so we can all take part in this fun.
Here it is.
And you see, the thing is, everybody's grabbing their wine right now and their popcorn. That's what all the women said.
Oh, really?
So
Yes, you have to read the comments.
let's go back in here and let's look for. He saw the comments. Of course, he saw the comments. He knows how curious everyone is.
So we're getting a very cold front in Florida. And so we've been bundled up for days and we're getting New York weather probably. It's like 39 degrees.
Oh, very
It was
cold,
crazy because we
cold
were
front.
out, the volleyball addicts last night that we are, bundled up trying to play volleyball in the cold weather. Some people were so bundled up that they could barely move on the volleyball court. I think I played 6 games and I had it with the cold weather, but at least I got my little exercise in. Cheers from New Mexico. Thanks for joining us. I got messages today that people were setting their alarms from London to tune into this episode. I had people from Canada reaching out as well. So wherever you are in this world, we are thankful that you're tuning in to the Caribbean Edge.
I mean, for all of a sudden, I'm feeling a bit warm.
Like if you're in the hot seat, maybe.
Well, hopefully.
Get out of here.
Well, you're here for a good reason. So, first of all, welcome to the show. I think it's very, very, I don't want to say courageous because I don't want to scare you, but I think it's really a nice thing that you joined us. I don't know why Cheryl Ann's laughing.
Courageous is such a courageous. Oh my! I tried to lock it. Yeah, but I'm done. You're sharing. It's on your
Yeah.
page. It's definitely on your page.
So here's why we're thankful that you're here, because it's so challenging to find real men that are willing to come on and express themselves and talk about things from a men's perspective. And that's important to women because as we grow and learn from each other, we just don't want to talk as females to ourselves and get female advice. We want to know what men go through. So that's why tonight we're here to talk about Men and Heartbreak with Mr. Mark Cameron, and Mr. Paul Hollywood will be joining us on the set as well.
Well, okay, go ahead.
I want them to know why is it you? Why you? Because if I were a viewer, I would be wondering, but why me? Why Mark? Who is this guy? Is he some kind of relationship guru? What is he gonna teach us that we don't already know? Okay, he might be a little bit more explosive with his points of view because a lot of men are not. But I'm gonna tell them why is it that we chose you. I saw this in my Facebook postings, in my newsfeed, and I sent it to Dawn immediately, and I said to her, "We need him on the show." That's exactly what I said, and it was simply because of this. I've been hurt to a point where I cannot eat or sleep. Nothing mattered. I wished things were different, but she wanted out. That hurt me. Anyway, you went on, but hurting her, unimaginable. And that's what I sent to Dawn, and I said, we need him on the show.
Okay.
And she, you know what she said? Wait a minute, you know what she said? Get him on next week. That's what she said to me. And I said, on it. Because I had already messaged you.
Well, I just got back from Jamaica. And there's been some terrible things going on, in the media about men and how they handle relationships, at the end. And it has not been very good for the women.
To explain to the viewers what's going on, for those that are not in tune with the Jamaican newspaper.
A lot of men who are breaking up with their women are not taking it very well. Some are taking out the women and killing themselves.
Wow.
And some are just killing the women.
A lot, you said?
I wouldn't say a lot. I mean,
but people close enough that
trending.
You are hearing.
It's trending in
Wow.
that direction more so than before.
Right.
And from that standpoint, I thought that it might be a good thing to even do the show.
Mm-hmm.
I questioned myself.
Right.
I mean, why am I doing the show?
Right.
I mean, it opens myself to a lot of different things,
Yes.
lot of questions, and although I'm somewhat public, I'm a bit private as well. So.
Okay.
But for the collective good, I think it's something that we need to talk about.
Absolutely. And so, for the reports in Jamaica, and this happens around the world where people are killing each other or killing the person they love because they walked away or whatever the situation is. The few instances that I know about, it was also financially motivated.
Mm-hmm.
So the women took money or had the men support them.
Okay.
And then at the end of it, they end up feeling duped as well. So not just from the heart, but also the women dupe them.
Well, I disagree. It cannot be love. And that's one of the things I tried to talk about when I made my post.
Okay.
I cannot imagine hurting somebody that I really love, I think if somebody wants out of a relationship for whatever reason, I've always felt very confident about myself. I don't feel like I'm any less of a person if somebody doesn't want to be with me. It just means that they have a different option. It's almost like Heinz ketchup, okay? You have different types of ketchup. Some people love Heinz, some people like Great Grace or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You are just not their brand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a big deal. I mean, if somebody wants out of a relationship, help them leave.
Wow. So
Help them. No, because what I'm saying, I would never want to be with somebody
who does not
Who doesn't
want to be with
me.
you.
so did you reach this
Overnight, no.
Okay.
I did not get there overnight.
Right.
First of all, this situation we're talking about happened a very long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is not like
Recent
time. I was in my mid-20s,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in my 50s right now. So
Mm-hmm.
this happened a very long time. So there's been a lot of breadfruit seasons
Mm-hmm.
since that time.
So you've broken a lot of hearts along the way, would you say, or no?
Okay, I'll give you one personal situation,
Okay.
and because it happened
Yeah.
it broke my innocence,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a Christian family. Went to church every Saturday. Sunday Bible study, all that kind of stuff, And there's a girl that I was 15 years old, 15, don't discount the age.
Okay.
It's a very innocent, very real relationship. Obviously, we both didn't know what we were doing, but whatever I felt, it was very, very
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't thinking about going there, so to speak, at that age. I figured, okay, in due time, when we get married, here it is, I'm 15 years old talking about,
Yeah.
when we get married, we can explore that option.
Mhm.
I was just happy to know that I was with her, I could walk her home. So, I had a ride home every day from school with my parents. But she lived in a different direction. So sometimes I would tell my parents, hey, I've practiced today, just to follow her home. Walk her home, it sounds cliche, but I'll take her bags and take a long way home.
Mhm.
Anyhow, she left me for an older guy that's more mature and did mature things. And that really, I was like, oh man, that is really a tough one.
So walk us through the emotions. Did you cry?
I was too shocked to cry.
Okay.
First of all, I saw, even at that age, I saw signs of distance.
Okay.
I saw that she was, when you're that young, the goodbye kiss was when you're leaving. You're like, hey babe, I'm leaving now, I'm going home.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only justification for getting a little kiss, before you leave.
Mhm.
I couldn't randomly go up and kiss her, but I was too shy to do that.
Right.
But I could justify a goodbye kiss, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I would, then,
Wow.
and then she started saying goodbye from inside the house, like, okay, ma, I see you later.
Oh, shoot.
Oh wow.
I was like, oh, that's kind of,
Kind of cool.
So I saw some signs.
Right.
And when she's like, yeah, Mark, maybe, you should just have your mom take you home, I just kind of want to some time to myself. And like, okay. Time to yourself, okay, all right.
How long did it last, though? How long did the relationship last?
We were, if you want to call it dating, we're
Right.
probably about a year and a half.
Oh. Is it fair to say that you were 16 when she broke it off with you, when she tried?
No, no, let me be clear. We
Uh-huh.
no messing around, okay? Just kissing,
Right.
just kissing and hugging and kind of thing.
Right.
I was 14 and she was 14. She
Okay.
was 14, she was the same
Okay.
age. And about 15 and a half, I think,
Okay.
was when it kind of went weird.
Right.
So that's interesting because one of the things as women we do is we ignore the signs. So the signs are there of the pulling away and
I'm not sure because I'm an artist. I see everything.
okay.
We might be driving along, going to a store, and I'm noticing trees, I'm noticing clouds, I'm noticing a whole lot of different things that people are not noticing,
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you care, you're going to be noticing these things. If you care a lot,
Exactly.
any sign
Without a doubt.
of distance, you're going
Yeah.
to pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, but a lot of women are so in the know, blinded by wild emotions and thoughts and expectations that they're not looking for those signs. And some, when they see those signs, they excuse them. The biggest mistake women could make is actually excuse a sign of distance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it leads to a problem later on because you're not, when it hits you, when you think you're blindsided, but you weren't blindsided by it.
So in your opinion, that's one difference between male and female is we're more blindsided when the signs are there. We have a tendency to ignore them more than a man.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions about women and men is that we're pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
We have different perspectives. It depends on how you're brought up. I do not believe there is a successful book that can define what a relationship is all about, because I watched, I listened to Steve Harvey's book, what he about his book. It doesn't apply to me.
Right.
It's that's why I said I don't believe that there's any one book. You cannot paint with a broad brush. I mean, relationships, because everything is different.
Right.
What may work for you may not work for me. I'll give you an example. There is a girl I dated who she believed that a man should be the pursuer. You know, he should always pursue and fight for her, right? Now, I've always believed that if you're not interested, I'm not interested as well. Because your enthusiasm is what stimulates my interest. If you're not interested, I'm not interested as well.
But from a woman's perspective, it's not necessary that we're not interested. I think some women are old school. So we think the man should make the first move. The man should call, because you don't want to dominate. You don't want to put your emotions out there, and he's not interested, right? So I think we more take the back seat to allow the man to step up, so to speak.
Well, the man will step up initially,
Right.
which is what you're talking about.
Right.
But after that initial interaction, the man needs to know that he's going in the right direction. Now, what I'm
absolutely.
talking about is the woman
Yeah.
who continues to play that kind of game. Now,
Oh.
it may work with some other guys, but for me, it's my exit stage left.
Right.
Because
life is precious, and you
It's
want
not
to spend it.
it's not even that. I mean, we have to be honest. I mean, if we're in a relationship, we have to be honest about where we want to go. I'm talking about as an adult.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
If I'm dating a woman, I need to know where this is going to go. If it's
Right.
not, I'll fight to allow her to know who I am. In other words, if it takes me extra time to show her I wouldn't want her to walk away knowing that she did not get to know who I am.
Right.
So in that context, I mean, that's worth fighting for. You want to fight for the right for her to know who you are. But in terms of fighting I'll fight for her. If some dude steps to her, I'll take him out. I mean, I'll fight for my woman or any woman I'm dating. You know, I'm not one of them guys gonna run away. Anybody come test my woman, I'm in trouble. No, straight up, I will fight for her like that. And I mean, I've a busted as a younger man, you know.
Right. It sounds like when you fall, you really fall. Like you're not because some men, I think they hold back instead of falling. I think some men protect more than actual falling. Would you say that? And not just from yourself, but from other men as well that you've hung out with, like your close people that you've had maybe these conversations with.
Well, if you believe that they're holding back.
Okay.
A lot of men are not holding back. They're not holding anything. They're just there.
They're just being themselves.
Just there, and whatever happens. They don't have any. I mean, the men who are serious are the ones who may hold back a little bit because of they don't want to be sure where things are going before they open up to a relationship like that. But I mean, a lot of men. I have 2 daughters, so.
How old?
One's 35 and the other one is 31.
Did it change you after having daughters, how you look at women?
No, I've always. I mean, you know, I'm a woman type of guy.
You are.
I'm not into the whole guy stuff.
Yes, you are.
Right.
You are.
I'm not. I don't hang out with the guys. I mean, when I was married,
Right.
you know, I'm married and divorced and married. You know, when my wife would have friends over and the guys are playing dominoes, I'm the guy in the kitchen talking with her friends.
Right.
So I'm not the guy. I don't go to the bar. You know,
yeah.
I'm the guy stuff when I'm running, playing football.
Right.
Or track and field or something like that. But I don't hang out with guys that much. I'm not that type of person.
That's why you made that post, because you're that type of guy. So there are times when you have been towards the end of a relationship, and like you said, you can't eat and you can't sleep.
Check this out. Before there were cars, before there were beautiful homes, it was man and woman. I didn't care about the kind of hat you have on, the kind of clothes you wear. It didn't really matter. What's the most important thing to a man is a woman. the most important thing to a woman is a man. Until she has kids.
Then the kids take
Then
precedence.
things change, you know?
Mhm.
Which most men are not really aware of that
Right.
that whole arrangement.
Right.
Until death do you part, you know, you're from the
Right.
rib and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
No. When you have your kids, if somebody come and say, hey, give me a kid or your husband. Husband gone. you can't forget about that. So, you know, so, I mean, like I said, that's the most important thing to us. So, I think as life happens, as we've been culturalized in different ways by our different backgrounds and country and that kind of thing, things change. Women, you know, when I was in high school, the criteria for a relationship was that, well, I mean, we're young. She's handsome or she's beautiful or whatever. It's not how much money the guy has or, you know, what he can do for me. You know, it's about just, hey, do I enjoy her company? Does she enjoy my company?
For a lot of people, but I think it's also changed a lot now because of social media exposure. You'll find younger girls looking for more of the men that can take care of them, or that's what's being reported anyway. Well, one of the things that I agree with you on, well, a lot, but something that you said that sticks out for me is there's no book that can tell you about relationship because we're all so different. I think culturally, which you mentioned, I think what our parents instilled in us, also some of that in the background there.
Values.
And then what, as we mature as adults, also how the goals and the standards that we start to set for ourselves as we get older. So I think all those things impact our thoughts on relationships as well. And I think the same thing is, you know, there's no book to explain it. There is no one person situation that's going to help you. You have to learn from each other, learn from your personal mistakes as well. So would you say Caribbean men, which is one of the things that's out there, are so different than the rest of the world? Do you see Caribbean men being different in relationships?
Well, the Caribbean men are responding to the needs of the woman. The type of card. Okay, let's be honest about this. The kind of car men drive, the profile, is about attracting the type of woman that he's looking for. And so he tries to satisfy her by her needs. Whatever she wants, that's what he tries to, that's the impression, that's what he.
So it's not because he likes the car, or he may like it, but he also wants to attract the woman?
No, I mean like a peacock. I mean, a peacock has beautiful feathers to attract, you know, a female.
Okay.
The same thing applies to men. Women do this, but nowadays women are dressing for other women. I've seen that too. They're not even. I'm not.
You mean because?
I'm not talking about sexual orientation.
Right, we're talking about
some women just like
stylish,
to be like, hey, I'm this, and you know.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
Look, you know, yeah. So they dress for for other women. Men pretty much dress for women. The way they dress, the way they carry themselves, because they believe that the woman will appreciate that type of style, and it's actually kind of fraudulent.
So you're not dressing for yourself, you're dressing for women? Like when I want to clarify, because when I get dressed, I'm dressing for me. Yes, I also want to impress.
Okay.
I want to be current, stylish, whatever, but it's really for me, how I feel in my clothes and what I want to make people see. So how is that different? You're saying the men are doing it to impress the women.
Well, if we were dressing for ourselves, we would dress the same way we dress
For us.
inside your house as well as outside. So in other words,
No,
well, I mean,
because you're going somewhere, right? If I'm going to a party,
I
I'm
understand.
not going to dress the same way as I get up to make breakfast.
Yeah, but once you go outside, people are going to. Your concern is that people are going to see you the way that you're dressed. So if you're not concerned about that, then you leave with the pajamas and go outside. I mean, or dress like you are inside and stay
No,
inside
they're
the
different
house.
clothes for different occasions. I have
I
different
understand that.
clothes I wear to church, different clothes I wear to the volleyball court, different clothes I wear. And when I'm going out to hang with my friends, I can throw on slacks, or if I'm going to a party, I dress for a party. But the number one person I dress for is Dawn Wilson. Everyone else is secondary. But I agree to some extent. So I'm trying to define if men, in your opinion, are the main person is you're dressing, because when you walk out that door, it's for women.
Let me be clear, okay? Most men
Mm-hmm.
dress to be, I wouldn't say current. They dress because it's something to do.
Right, you have to.
Yeah, you have to be modest and dress properly. Men who are dating tend to dress a little differently, and I see the same thing with women. I mean, women who are dating dress differently. I see a
You
difference.
see that?
I see that.
I've never noticed.
Me either.
Yeah, I've never noticed.
I think because some women we're all different.
But you would know
so
though.
yeah.
You
I'm
as
a
a
guy
guy,
person.
Well,
I think you would
You're
know.
the guy.
I'm in business to know.
Right. I think
We want
you
your
would know.
questions. Remember, this
Let
is
me
your
see.
opportunity to ask Mark any question from a male perspective. And that's why we're digging deep, because we don't have these conversations or people that will freely tell us on camera. So thank you for being so open and honest at the glass table about this.
Well, no problem. I mean, it's a part of life. I mean, everything that we experience is just life.
Okay, so going back to relationships, so women, I think we handle it for the most part, because you can't speak to all women, right? When our heart is broken, it's like it's just shattered. Some women don't want to get out of bed. We're crying. We don't want to live anymore, even though we know we want to live, but it's devastating, right? We cry to our girlfriends. Our girlfriends listen to a point where if it's too long, they want us not to call them anymore. How do men handle that? Like socially, I think women have other women friends that we're close to. So we can speak to them if we choose to.
Yeah, we're not going to be
about
crying on our buddies and
Right.
our friends.
So what do you do?
What I've seen some men do is they go into this zone of trying to find another woman quickly
Yeah.
to show off on the girl that, hey, it's an ego thing. It's like, hey, you may not want me, but she does. And those women get hurt because they really, before they know it, they realize that, hey, he's not really interested in me. He's really about trying to prove something to somebody else.
Yeah.
There's one angle that I've seen men, some pretty much stay away because they're embarrassed. They're embarrassed that, they're not, well, if they've been dumped, they're kind of embarrassed about it and they kind of stayed away for a while. Men tend to internalize these things, and it's a little more devastating, I think, for them because there's no outlet. There's nobody, no shoulders to cry on.
Right.
If anything, their friends might be laughing at them, like, "Yo, man, how you make that happen to you?"
Yeah, man, get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
man.
and
Enough woman out there.
And there's some men, which gets back to what we were talking about earlier before. There are a lot of men who invest trying to make an impression, giving money they don't even have.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And they're actually trying to buy the relationship. And I think women have to be very careful of men like that.
Yeah.
Because if I possess this glass, right, and I really want this glass, I'll do anything to get it. The symptoms are the same when trying to have a woman, I'll cry for this glass because it's a possession, and the signs of possession and love are similar, but they're total opposites, in terms of what may happen to you if something happens, if the relationship falls apart. Somebody who looks at you as a possession is most likely to hurt you because that's mine,
Yeah.
You're his. You're not a person. You're not a separate entity that came together as a team, as a couple. It's you're owned.
So the man is thinking, I've invested so much
Right.
into this woman, financially, emotionally. So when you take that away now from that man, what's his first thought?
Some men feel, and there's a saying in Jamaica, they feel like you've styled them,
Okay.
like you've dissed them. Okay, especially if you've taken money from them,
Oh yeah.
and you know he probably borrowed money to give you money, and then you're like
Wow.
dissing him with another guy and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
A lot of people who do not have who were
Wow.
brought up properly, who don't understand what is love and they're just bad people. They will hurt you. You know.
Right. I think for women, I think we would say, my heart's broken. The time that I've invested in this person, I gave my body to this person.
But he gave his body too.
Yeah, but we're not thinking about you when our heart's broken. We're thinking about ourselves. So I could have been with someone else and I gave you me. Like my body is sacred to some degree. Just telling your woman's brain
I understand.
from my perspective.
But
And we're thinking also about the family and friends that as a couple we've been with. So what
Yeah,
happens
there's a
to your
disconnect.
friends
Yeah, the
when
friends, yeah,
all
that's-
this happens
that's
now?
tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
So I think we don't think of what the man has invested in us financially. At least I wouldn't. I just think that
Well, you know, recently, women have been monetizing their body. And when you monetize your body, then you become an object. And you leave yourself open to being abused, you know. If I feel like for instance, if I feel like I'm in a relationship with somebody who wants anything from me, I'm out. I'm just not. I'm not that type of guy, you know. I would give a woman money as I'd give a brethren, you know. I may not buy her a Gucci bag, but and these are my standards. But if your roof blow off, I'll help you put your roof on, you know. I'm just not, you know. In other words, how I give based on how I am as a person. I'm not a very materialistic person, so I'm not going to spend money on a Gucci bag for you because you want it. If I have some, you know, okay. If I have a whole lot of money hanging around, and you really want it, and it makes you feel good, maybe.
Right.
But
If you have a
that's- but-
whole lot of money,
Yeah, but that's not
yeah.
my. I'm not trying to be you know, trying to impress anybody.
Mm-hmm.
right. But if you're building a home together or
It doesn't matter what is hers is mine.
right,
What is mine is
if
hers.
if her roof blows off, obviously as the man
No,
in
her as
life,
in even in a separate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
then you would assist her, obviously.
Yeah,
but
as I would a brethren or a
Yeah.
friend of mine, you know.
Right.
But if it becomes a criteria for the relationship, it will never happen
Mm-hmm.
on my watch.
Right.
Okay.
A lot of guys
I
do. A lot of
understand.
guys, and I've had a similar conversation with guys in Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Why you don't give them money?" And I was like, "Brethren, that's not who I am.
Right.
If you have a need, and I have the money, and I'll help you just as I'd help another friend, a brethren of mine. But it will never be a criteria for the relationship. I'm old school. That's the way I've been brought up, and
Mhm.
I'm fine with that.
All right. So men and heartbreak. What advice would you give women based on your experience from a man's perspective? How you guys handle it and why a lot of women view you as so cold, not you personally, but men, as being cold and not handling it the way we are, as emotional as we are.
Well, I think one of the things that a woman needs to understand is that if a man decides not to be with her, it's no reflection on her. She is just not the brand that he's looking for. It's not a personal thing. And before you met this person, you're probably just fine, right? I mean,
Right.
so it was impossible to be hurt by somebody you didn't know. You gave the person that power to allow you to be hurt by that, by him leaving. I think women should look on it as a blessing that somebody actually revealed themselves to them, and take it as a. Be thankful that this person was like, that you know and you haven't put much more time into the relationship, because you're actually you're exploring the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong in exploring it. I mean, in the exploratory process,
Right.
I think it's very important how women, how much of themselves do they give
Right.
during the exploratory part of the relationship. Do not give, just as we talked about with the money part. Do not give of yourself what you are going to be hurt. That's going to hurt you.
But we can't help but give ourselves.
No, I understand. I said,
Right.
I mean, depends on how much we're talking about. In other words, be a little bit more reserved.
But you can't. Here's why I say we can't.
Uh-huh.
If I'm dating you,
Mhm.
welcome, Paul.
Hi. Sorry, I'm late.
That's
So,
all right.
if I'm dating you, I don't think I know how to hold back if I like you. So we're not talking about sex here. We're just talking about just the emotional connection that I have with you. Once you get involved sexually, then you've given, in my opinion, your body. That means you're trusting this person with who you are. If they're coming into your home, that's also another level of trust for a lot of
Right.
women, because your home is somewhat sacred. You don't bring anybody into your house.
Okay.
So how do you start to have feelings for someone and say, well, I don't want to go that much? Some of that comes with maturity, where you can put on the brakes. But I remember as a young adult, it wasn't as easy. Now I'm more cautious, and I think more people are cautious, especially single people.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems is expectations.
Hmm.
When you go into a relationship, you have to know who this person is.
Do you ever know someone?
Well, I mean, it's some earlier than others, some
Yeah.
much longer. But I think the important thing is that you become friends. You have to know
Yeah.
who this person is. I mean, okay, suppose you have great sex, okay, and you do a couple hours, whatever. There's still 22 hours left in the day. Here's a person that you have to be able to relate to and to be able to have a good conversation.
I'm with you. Get to know that person.
Right, so I mean,
Take the time to get to know
Right.
that person before you start to fall. You can't control your feelings. It takes a while. It
Yeah.
takes a while. And there are people that you fall head over heels in love with from day one for some reason.
I'm
You
not
just
su-
have that instant,
right.
you just have that instant connection. But once you get to know that person, you start to spend time with that person, is when you really know if this is a true connection, if this is someone that you have fallen for, is falling for, and want to continue to spend more time with. I don't think you can possibly know from the very beginning. You can have a connection. You can,
Yes.
but you cannot begin to know until you live with that person. Probably you probably have to live with that person to truly know if you guys are going to be able to live the rest of your lives together.
Well, I mean, okay, let's not go so deep as moving on. I'm saying we're talking about like marriage now. We're talking about
Forever
a
and
regular,
ever.
we're talking
Yeah,
about
regular
dating.
dating.
We're talking
Yes.
about regular dating thing.
Dating or committed relationship? What are we talking
you have to date before you commit.
Commit, yeah.
So what I'm saying to you is that in the exploratory part of the relationship, you are okay. First of all, love is really how somebody makes you feel. What you're in love with is how the person
Is making
makes
you
you
feel.
feel.
I can see
A
that.
lot of people think it's a lot deeper than that, but that's really what it is. Because the person didn't make you feel good,
Yeah,
you're not going to be there.
right.
Okay, so let's keep it real.
You agree?
Yeah,
Right,
I do.
guys, this is Paul.
Paul
Paul Hollywood now, he stepped in. So yes, you agree. You agree with him.
Yes,
that, yeah.
Yeah, so no, I'm talking about the exploratory part of the relationship. When you meet somebody, just as you'd meet a friend or a girlfriend, you want to know who this person is.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to give as much of yourself and your time with a person that you don't know.
Right.
So why would it be any different with a man? If you met a man that you're attracted to, obviously we have attractions. You want to know who this person is before you even. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're head over heels
Yes.
on a look, then that is a problem.
Yes, it is.
Because I've met girls that are beautiful,
Yeah.
and I'm not attracted to them because I don't know them.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, it's not a piece of art.
Right.
It's a beautiful body, beautiful breast and all. I mean, I don't know you.
Right.
Right.
So, and I've been involved with women who are not as attractive as the most beautiful, and I have more attraction to the person who is
Right.
not
Yes.
as beautiful.
Exactly.
Because
I believe you.
that
I
per-
believe you.
And I started loving her flaws.
Right.
Right.
So all flaws. So it's really about a connection
Yes, it
that you
is.
get over a period of time.
Yes.
Any woman that I meet, that I've met in the past, and I was like, oh, Mark, I love you. I was like, you know something, man, I got a problem with that. I don't know you.
Right.
You don't know me, and you love me. I don't understand why. Why do you love me?
Right.
What about me that you love that I haven't? You have not had a chance to know the very depths of who I am as a person. If I'm kind, if I'm giving, if I'm a loving person, affectionate, or what? You're in love with a look. You know, you're infatuated with a look, and it puts a lot of women in a lot of problems because they have not done the necessary exploratory work, the time to find out who this person is before committing themselves to a deeper relationship as far as their body is concerned. I mean, when a woman has sex with a man, I mean, we're giving up ourselves, you know. It's a very deep thing. I know we've kind of trivialized it over the years. It's looked on as
You guys cannot trivialize it.
Well,
Men
you can.
cannot trivialize sex for us.
It's
Sex for
emotional.
us is huge.
It's emotional.
It's mental, it's emotional,
It's emotional.
it's physical, it's a be all and all sex for us. So you cannot begin to trivialize sex.
no, I'm
for
talking
us.
about from the men.
Okay.
Men have trivialized,
Yeah.
and some women have trivialized sex as well. As a matter of fact, there's a phenomenon going on around now where a woman, she'll go to that guy and she'll like, you know, and she don't call him back. And that's
Are you finding that's an age?
More?
Just like a
no,
division
no,
of
no.
the age
It's
group?
it's the woman. The more empowered they are,
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing some role
Wow.
reversal
Wow. I
Where-
believe
where
you.
Oh yeah.
men who were like powerful
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
deal with women, and they have sex with them and they don't call them back. And
Wow.
They call them when they feel like
Feel like it.
or whatever.
Wow.
Because of how they've been culturalized and how things are changing.
Because
Society-
they've been hurt.
society-
They
society.
don't want to hurt.
Let's hear Paul. Let's hear Paul,
Society-
guys. What do you have to say?
Society and the internet kind of depicts
Thank you.
that social
Thank
media
you.
has a very vast visible arena
Yes.
where I find today with relationships, social media has a lot to do with how people treat their significant other or the person that they're dating because of what they see on social media.
Well, I think a lot of it for women is hurt. Women have been hurt for so long that they've kind of given up on love. So they want a more
They're trying to act like a
back
man.
approach.
No, I don't think they've given up on the love. You see, love.
Well, not given up,
Love,
but
in my opinion,
more cautious.
is a feeling. It's out there. Love is there. So if that person makes you feel love, then you're going to reciprocate it and want to give it back. And then it's a give and take. It's a I give, you give.
Mm-hmm.
I give, you give, and then love grows because you cannot expect it to grow if you don't water it like a plant, right? So you have to kind of nurture it. You know, you can't squeeze it. It's like an egg. If you hold an egg in your hand and you squeeze it too tight, what's going to happen to it? It's going to slip through your fingers, right? And you're going to crack it. But if you hold love and kind of nurture it, it will blossom. But because of today and social media, where people are attached to their iPhone, it's called iPhone for a reason. Social media depicts what relationships should look like. And both men and women get caught up in what it should look like, but they don't actually know what these people feel for one another when they're looking at the digital. But let's take it a step further, irrespective of the internet. Because when the internet is not on and it's just you and that person, you're sharing time. If two people don't make time for each other, love is not going to grow. Even in the dating aspect of it, sex is not going to happen unless that woman is emotionally involved with you. So therefore, you have built enough feeling of love with each other for that next level to happen. Because a woman will be resistant. A man will always, I mean, let's look at it really. A man's weakness is his eyes. A woman's weakness is her ears. Right? Story be told. When God told Adam, don't go in the garden, Adam told Eve, don't go in the garden. When the devil came down, the devil never came and bothered Adam and her, because he got the word from God. Who did the devil go in trouble? Eve. How? In her ears. And that is woman's fault, and men's fault is eyes. We go after the visual. So therefore, we will want to engage in sexual activity sooner, where a woman will want to hear and feel more emotional feeling before she gets involved. That takes time. It's just not going to happen overnight. It can, because there's that key word, vibe. Vibe. People have to have some sort of overwhelming feeling for it to happen like right away.
Vibe and energy.
Vibe and energy.
But you were just saying the opposite. You were saying women have said to you quite early, they love you, and they haven't gotten to know you as a man. So what about it is it that they love about you, which is the visual perspective?
Or it could be your
So we're all
achievement. It
different.
could be, listen, women will fall in love with your achievements. Women will fall in love with, women are attracted to power. The more powerful a man may appear,
correct.
that is an attraction for a woman.
Well, what it equates to, right? If you think about
Right.
it, think about it. Okay, things have changed so much. Okay, I mean, a woman is hardwired to be attracted to a man who's strong.
And resources.
Why? A strong man can support her when she is having a child. He can take care of the family.
Security.
I used to call women gold. At one point I said, "Man, that girl's a gold digger." But you know something? I don't think women are gold diggers. I think they're looking for a man. It's an innate feeling. You're looking for a man who's going to support you when you're at your weakest. You're at your weakest when you're having a child. It's all about the children. It really is about the children.
It's security.
So, a big guy, okay, there's a certain level of in humanity where you want to produce healthy children. So they're attracted to the guy who's muscular and he can throw a spear much further. He's gonna be bringing in more game for the kids and for the family. The little guy at the computer nowadays, right? 5'5" and 140 pounds. He's bringing in millions of dollars. So things are changing. Women are attracted to what a man can provide.
Exactly.
It doesn't. But the flip side to that is there's another part of a woman who still wants a child that is strong, that will be able to do well in life. So she'll probably go with a guy who brings in a whole bunch of money and cheat with that dude out there who's on the beach, the buff dude on the beach. Now, it may sound stereotypical, and I cannot paint with a broad brush,
Right.
but that also happens. Which is why when I first started this conversation, I said there's not been a successful book about relationships because things are different.
Well, there's something that I heard the other day.
And
I don't mean
relationships
that,
are different.
There's something that I saw the other day, and I found a lot of truth in it. And the gentleman went on to say that women don't love men. What women love is comfort, attention, and security. Security gonna cost money. Comfort costs money.
So they love who provided.
And that is the competition because
You like that.
because the man who can provide the comfort and provide the attention and provide the security for now will win her emotion. Win her emotion because she sees that you can provide the attention, provide the comfort, and provide the security, right? Now, just because you have that woman, that doesn't necessarily mean that another man is not going to try to offer her more comfort, more attention, and more security. And that's what will lead women astray if they are not happy with the emotional feeling you give them.
Right. So from my
Because
perspective,
women cheat for different reasons.
right. And for
Men
my,
don't need too
for
many
my-
reasons to cheat. That's why they say Jamaican men are not cheaters. They label them as galleys.
Right, but okay, so we're generalizing, right? Because I want to defend women a little bit here.
Of course, of course.
And then some of the women we're talking about is about women that want to have kids. Some women are more mature. A lot of our audience are beyond that stage now. They've been hurt. Their hearts are ripped out by men. A lot of women are not looking for the things you're mentioning as well.
A lot.
A lot of women still want someone that can cater to their hearts. Someone
But
that
that's attention.
okay, someone that respects them, someone they're attracted to physically, because you don't want to go to bed with just any and anybody. You women are taking care of themselves, and we want men that are taking care of themselves too. That they're shaving, they don't know only put hair on them chest, and they put themselves proper. So all those things are important. No matter how much money you have, if you come to bed nasty, it's not going to work. Those things turn you off. If I can't connect with you on an intellectual level, there's no amount of money you can have, because that's just money.
Well, that's where the time comes in when you build a relationship. The time you spend, you're building.
No,
the
but
love.
it has to be there first. I'm not attracted to you because of your car.
Well, then that's the end of the conversation.
Right.
Okay, then it can't
So-
go any further than that.
So I'm saying is there's a lot of women that out there that are still looking for a man that they can connect with emotionally.
Yes, number one.
That's obviously we're not going to go date someone serving at Burger King at this age in our life.
Well, a few have been doing that though.
Right, they are. Yeah, because and I don't know why. I'd love to have them on the
Well, I mean,
show
well, I mean,
because
I mean,
it's
I mean,
interesting,
I mean,
right?
let's put it this way: there's a lot more women today doing much better than men.
Oh, yeah.
Financially.
Yeah.
So what we just talked about is debunked somewhat, because women are not looking for a man like with a whole bunch of money, because they probably have a lot of money themselves.
No, it's not about the money for us. It really is about someone that you connect with on an intellectual and an
Yeah,
emotional
companionship.
level. Basically, I mean, bottom line, someone who you know is going to have your back, someone who you feel a connection with, someone who has a big, wide open heart that you see would treat others with respect and with dignity. It's those things. It's not so much how much money you make and how much power you have and what type of clothes you wear and what kind of car you
No.
drive. It's not like that.
That's part of it. The other, and I'm going to add to that. That's part of it. But one of the most interesting aspects of that is that once that level has been accomplished, where the looks, the physical, the attention, the emotion, and everything is there, everybody's looking for a connection. So it's now, I want to meet your family. And you want to meet that person's mother and father if they're still alive. You want to meet that person's sisters, brothers,
Yeah.
aunties.
Yeah.
You wanna travel and spend holidays with this person.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
with relationship, to keep it exciting, you always have to look forward to doing something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the minute you say to your lady, "Hey, hon, guess what I did today? I just booked a trip for you and I to go away." She's already packed her bag in her head, and she's excited.
Oh yeah.
So from the time you mention that we're going on a vacation till the time you go, everything is nice.
Well,
Okay,
I think the thought is what got her excited.
Well, that's the thing.
But
It's just
the
like
fact he thought
feeling.
about
It's just like the feeling of love. It's a thought. It's the emotion.
Wow, he
Okay.
wants to take me away. He wants to spend some quality time with me
Ex-
away from everyone else.
Exactly.
I'm so in love with this dude.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
an emotion,
yeah.
it's a feeling, and the more you do the trips, and the more you do the dinners and the outings and the this that, you're giving attention, and at the same time you're giving the attention, you're also creating conversation that enables you to do more things. Because sooner or later, the things that you used to do in the beginning, you don't do as much as them. You do bigger things, but seldomly. Because now you're spending more quality time at home. I mean, let's face it, Netflix. People are choosing to, not go out and, age has a lot to do with it.
I
You
was
go
just
out-
going to say that we enjoy our time alone watching a movie
Right, but
on
that comes with
Netflix.
age because the priorities
Yeah,
change as you
very
get
true,
older.
very
So,
true.
our age group here now, we are not coming from the millennial
Right.
aspect of things.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody who's coming from a millennial perspective is not gonna really. That we're gonna have stuff in common, but how far is it gonna go?
Exactly. Yeah.
So therefore, people who grew up without iPhones
Mhm.
and those type of technology, we made more conversation over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to meet you more. We're not into the texting. We want to talk to you.
Right,
So
yes.
there's a different vibe
Yeah.
that's built. I mean, yeah, the millennials build vibe over texting
Mm-hmm.
and emojis and all of that.
They do.
Where the old people from the old school,
No.
I'm not into that long texting thing.
Yeah.
I want
Right.
to talk to you. So there's a vibe that's built that's different. So women today, yes, the millennial stuff is good, but there's no substance to it. It's a facade. It's not as real as it is when a man picks up the phone in the morning and calls you
Yeah.
and says, "Hey, good morning. How you doing? Have a great day," as opposed to texting, "Good morning, have a great day." Anybody can do that.
Right.
That
So
doesn't
I
have-
want to pause a little bit because I want you, Paul, to answer about what this topic is about, which is heartbreak. How do you think men handle it, or how have you handled heartbreak? So give that some thought. But I want to, before you respond to that,
Excuse me
get
one
to some of
second.
our viewers as
Christina,
well.
can I have you turn this camera? I don't think this camera is picking up Paul.
So while
yeah,
Christine is doing that,
maybe a little bit
Joan
towards him.
says sometimes after
Oh,
living with
a little bit
someone,
more.
you
A little
still
bit
don't
more.
know them.
Oh God,
Say that again?
perfect. Thank you
So
so much.
Jones agree. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Sorry we got so involved. We haven't even looked at comments here. So keep the comments coming. I'll read them as quickly as I can. Jones agree says sometimes after living with someone, you still don't know them, and I've said that too because you find out what someone's like when you actually break up with them.
Well, you know,
it becomes someone else. So what's your thoughts on that?
you know, someone said you never know how sour a lemon is until you squeeze it.
Right. I've
So-
never heard that one, but perfectly
Yeah,
stated.
so
Yeah.
you see lemon there, and so usually somebody reveals themselves to you when there's trouble.
How you handle
How
those
they handle-
disagreements.
how they
and
handle
arguments.
disagreements
Oh,
is really what-
absolutely.
Lets you know who this person really is. You know, when everything is
Reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reaction is a
which
is a key is a key element in back to what you were asking with heartbreak.
which goes back to what we're talking about with the Jamaican situation with the men
Yeah.
that have actually used, you know.
But before you
become violent.
answer, I want to read some of the comments because our viewers have been asking some questions, so we want to get them in. Neil Martin said that a 25 is not the same as a 45,
That's
meaning
true.
the age group. So
I
we
agree.
definitely agree with that. Pat Austin, thanks for tuning in, young lady.
Hello,
I
Pat.
think men get hurt more than we do and don't always show it, which goes to what we need you to respond to. Yvonne Hope, it's about the connection and how they make you feel. We need to slow our roll and get to know the person, which is something Mark tipped on. So tell us about men and heartbreak. Do you agree with that men handle it differently than women, and why?
We internalize it differently
Right?
because that's when the heartbreak happens. You have to look at what that person means to you, right? And you have to kind of look at it in a perspective that it's either one or two. Can I live without this person? How much can I live? How can I live with this person? How much can I live with this person? As opposed to, no, I can't live without this person. I don't want to live without this person. I want to make this work. Heartache can come in many different ways as far as, do I want to try? And then it's 30-70 or 70-30. One person's really, really trying to make it work, and the other person is very nonchalant, very lethargic, you know, not really into it. Okay, so now you have to look at the core of why this heartbreak is occurring. Because heartbreak itself will bring an emotion, but you have to zone into why is it a heartache. And some people have a tendency to clam up. They don't even know how to internalize why they're feeling the way they're feeling, men. Because women will come out straight and tell you, I don't think this is working out anymore and I think we should move on. And, you know, they don't really come out straight and say they met somebody else until you ask them, why? Did you meet someone else? And they'll always deny that.
So do men
Do men what?
come out and tell you they met someone else?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think it's the norm.
No, I think
think-
they'd
I
rather
think-
cut off their hand than tell you that. Yeah.
Because they want to save the feelings of the other person.
Right.
I
Me,
think
my
it's a
opinion,
natural
my opinion, I would prefer you to tell me that you met somebody else. Because then it would be easier for me to move on. When you stagnated and you don't be upfront and honest with it, then you're still keeping that person in a limbo where they can still try.
So have you done that? Have you met someone else while in a relationship? You don't have to answer.
No,
you
go
can
ahead,
play
you can
the
ask.
fifth.
You can always ask.
And not told the other person.
Well, at my age now, where I've had my experiences, women, it all depends on the connection you have with them that will bring the honesty. If you have a good intellectual relationship with somebody and it's mature, right? Hey, I have to sit down and talk to you. You know things have been rough and not going so well between you and I for the longest time, and this is the reason why. Because I just can't continue anymore like this. And lay it all on the table. It's either you're going to correct it, you're going to work on it, or you're going to move on. But at least put the cards on the table. At least put the reasons why we're breaking up.
But if you've emotionally moved on with someone else, that's difficult to try to work out anything.
Yeah, but why? The reason is even though the person has moved on emotionally with somebody else, why did the person move on emotionally? What caused it? It's the cause, not the effect.
Right, but there's probably multiple things. But emotionally, you've now moved on. How do you work that out
Well, you
with
can't.
someone?
See, the thing is, you can't really move on properly from a heartbreak or from a breakup if you don't know the reasons why you broke up in the first place. And that's what happens. People are broken, and then they get into other relationships,
Right.
and they do the other thing over and the same repetition.
So
thing
you're
happens.
saying you would stay and try to work it out, even though you're emotionally connected to someone else.
I didn't say necessarily I would stay.
Okay.
What I want to do is to find out why. Okay, so let me take the time to work on myself, or let's work on ourselves together. In a mature way, cordial. If it's worth salvaging, but if it's done, it's done. But if it's, hey, we've been through a lot, time, like when you look at each other and you say, you know, we got a lot of time in with each other. It's either we're going to try to make this work or we're not. But let's focus in on why it's not working.
Okay.
And let's try to make that better. See, it's always the source. It's always what that caused the breakup. What caused the breakup? The heartache is the effect that happened after, right? That's what happened. But what is the source? Let's
So
get
have you
down to
had
that.
your heart broken?
17, 19.
Okay, so
20.
yes. What tell us, what did you do? Women cry, women talk to their other girlfriends. As a man, what do you do when your heart was broken? It may be different all those times, but what did you do?
You give yourself, as a man, you give yourself therapy. And you choose the type of therapy that you're going to divulge in to get over, because some women will go months and months and months without even wanting to be with anybody and just like stay away from being involved, where a man will, if the woman told him that she doesn't want to be with him anymore, he's now feeling inadequate. He's feeling now he's not enough. He's now feeling belittled. So now he feels like he has to go make himself better.
Prove a point.
But
So what's this therapy? Can you define this?
the therapy can be traveling. The
Okay.
therapy can be going to work out, joining the gym. See, a lot of people think that just going to the gym is just about getting physically fit. Going to the gym is actually discipline
Yeah.
for a person. It shows discipline.
And women do that too. We start
And it-
working out more,
and it tells-
we change our hair color. we do
It
all
turns,
that.
yeah, they okay, good. Why weren't you doing it in the relationship? Why you do it
I
after?
don't know. I
See,
do it
that's
in the
another-
relationship.
Well, that's the
I always
thing.
look good.
You see, discipline. See, working out, like you go to your job, that's discipline. You go to the gym, you work out, that's discipline. It shows a lot about your personality and your character when you do these disciplined things. When somebody says, okay, I'm going to join the gym, and they go for two, 3 times, and then they don't go anymore, that's telling a lot about you. You don't have that holding, sustaining power. So what type of relationship can you give Us.
Well, I tell you what, when you go on gym,
Exactly. Jim.
you want to sleep because it's just not a very good. I have no energy to do anything.
Everybody,
But
everybody
that's
has
just an
different
example. I mean, it could be a
reactions.
hobby.
Which
It
is
could be a
Of
hobby.
course,
Which is what I'm
everybody's gonna react to it differently.
Which is what I'm saying. I
Everybody's
mean,
gonna,
Obviously, that what I was talking about happened a very long time ago, and
Mhm.
I'm talking about those emotions then.
Right.
When I say recently, probably maybe 15 years ago or whatever.
right.
When the second time that I've had that kind of situation, I mean, I put my time and effort into my work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd be like a bandit. I'd be out there
Work hard.
painting or doing. I was making some serious money when I broke up. Just refocus. But at the time when your heart has not been cocooned, so to speak, most of us at our age, we can deal with hurt a little bit different. I mean, now more so than when we're like 16 or 25.
Yeah, it was devastating.
Now it's like you're mature enough to say, okay, it's not what she wants, that's not what we want. Sometimes we talk about it, say, hey, guy, it's not working out. I mean, really. And it hurts. It still hurts. I mean, it's not something you can just walk because it's like losing a friend. Okay, if you guys are best friends and she said, hey man, I don't want to be around you anymore, that's going to be devastating to you. As just a friend. Sharing the bed and all that kind of stuff and different things together. Also, another thing that you need to think about is that there's equity being built over a period of time that you're together. And which is another aspect of love. Love is not about how the person makes you feel, because guess what? If there's enough equity in the relationship and you're sick, the equity that you've had before is what is going to allow your wife to take care of you until you're gone.
Right.
When it's not convenient
Right.
to take care of you.
Right.
So there's just a part of human, a part of being human.
Mm-hmm.
We connect. We have shared history. All those things are contributing factors to real love. We talked about the first part, which is how the person makes you feel. Okay, I got that. But beyond that, there is time on the books. You're spending time together.
You got time in with each other, yeah.
I have found myself attracted to a person who I spent a lot of time with. And when I first met her, I didn't think of her like that. But because of so much time that we spent together, I found myself getting an attraction. I had to step back because I was married. I was like, yo, I mean,
Yeah.
but it can happen. It can happen where, because of those different circumstances, women and men get themselves into other relationships that they never really planned on.
Right.
And which is another whole other show. I mean, there is an ability of persons to
But you know what that
to love
happens,
more than
though?
one person.
You know why that happens though?
It can happen.
Because in the
It's
relationship,
not-
That is a
it's
whole
not-
different show.
you know,
But you're
popular.
right.
you know why that
you're
happens?
right.
You know
It's
why
not
that,
popular, but I mean, it can happen.
You know
I've
what?
seen it happen with people that I know
That's
I'm
a
familiar
whole
with.
different show.
the
yeah.
strain. When somebody strays and starts to take on a relationship outside of the relationship, is because something's not happening with the
Not
relationship.
necessarily.
And some people need to go back to, like, everybody's heard the expression, you got to date your wife. See, a lot of men who are married, they're thinking of 1,000 ways to keep their woman, right? Instead of 1,000 ways to get other women. It's a priority. It's an age thing. Your priorities change as you get older. Because guess what? You get a good woman, you marry her, and you have kids, or you get a good woman, you meet her, and you don't want her to stray, because if she's beautiful and she's nice, other men are going to be attracted to her too. And where do men go when they want to tell a woman how they right to her ears? So if they get the opportunity to talk to her, they're going to they want to invite her out, they want to take her here, they want to do this, they want to do that. So if you're not doing that in the relationship by dating your wife or dating your girlfriend as much as you should, trust me, there's somebody out there that want to take her out.
Yeah, but I've seen in relationships with women who have perfectly good relationships with their husbands.
Right.
And they start working with in a different environment, and they spend a lot of time with a person or man, whatever.
Friend, in the beginning.
And before you know it, their great relationship at home has transitioned into something different.
Right.
And I mean, I saw a program recently where this woman she was with her husband, happily married, started working at this new company, met this guy, loves her husband, is not leaving her husband, and had no problem dating both.
Because she mentally connected to the other
She's
guy.
connected with both of them.
Yeah.
So in other words, we have to actually know those signs and put the brakes on because it can happen. We're not, listen, we are not, we are not, humans are not monogamous.
Yeah.
Naturally. We're not. And that's the way it's been. It's a survival of the species. That's how we are hardwired, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when we realize that other factors are going to hurt what we have, because we're looking on the family is not more. It's not just about you. It's about your children, your assets. All of these things are part of the framework of a family. We're not in the bushes anymore, walking around naked. Okay, there's other factors involved. So
relationships are
it's a lot more complex.
Yeah.
And you find even now in relationships, people are, when they're going in, they're not even putting their assets together. They're like separate.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, the first thing. The first thing a man and woman ask each other when it comes down to breakup, really, before the heartbreak even actually occurs, is, what am I doing wrong, or what is it that I'm not doing? And then sometimes it's not even you. It's not even them. It's just that you've grown out of each other.
Also,
Your time is over.
It's not a matter of your time. It's not a matter of your time is over. It's just that you're moving. Before you were like this, but now you're moving on a parallel, and you've just grown apart.
Your time together is over. Your time together is done. I'm going in a separate direction.
But you could go like this again. You can come back.
Yeah. If time passes again.
Working on yourself, focusing on yourself. What happens is people get into relationships and they just focus on each other, and then they don't
know themselves.
And they don't know themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So when stuff does happen,
they react in a way that they didn't think they would react.
No, because they made that whole person their whole entire world, and then they don't have any individuality anymore. So when crisis does happen, one person is going to feel it more than the other, because one is always giving. The other person is taking. He or she may give to, but when it's coming down, when this first 6 months or the year or a year and a half kind of fizzles out, and now you're going into the third, fourth year, or time is now lapsing, it's like, okay, so where do we go from here? How are you going to make it better? How are you going to make it grow? And 9 times out of 10, women want security. So where does that come from? I've been with this man for 3-4 years now. We need to buy a house. We need to buy some real estate. We need to do something, commitment. We need to live together, sign a lease together to stretch the commitment.
But here's an issue, right, that I've seen. Relationships are really a commitment.
Yes.
You've made a commitment that, hey, we're going to do this together. We're partners.
Right.
And we're going to take the good and the bad, okay? There's a phenomenon now that I've seen in a lot more cases than I'd like to see, where women, they get married to a man because they want children. And once those kids are grown, those women want out of the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The other flip side to that is women cannot please understand this. A man's eyes don't change. Okay? When I was in high school, the woman that I was attracted to was a woman that was my 24-year-old teacher. I'm in my 50s, okay? The man's eyes don't change. However, we talked about the other factors that keep us together, you know. Menopause is an issue. I call it men on pause, you know. and you know, it's not popular, but I'm just keeping it real here, okay? Women, hold on here. Women, you know, men, you talk about a midlife crisis. The midlife crisis is when a woman changes, and it puts a man into that he doesn't feel wanted anymore. He doesn't feel needed. She feels like she's having sex with him because to please him. When before we talked about her enthusiasm being his aphrodisiac.
Right.
How do you handle that?
Right.
Now, how it has been handled by mature couples is looking on. First of all, if my wife is sick or your significant other is sick,
Mm-hmm.
having sex with somebody is out of the equation because you're like, you're in pain. My partner is sick. You're not even thinking about sex with somebody else, you know. If you feel like you've been duped, then it's a whole another situation.
You have to keep the relationship
But-
exciting
but-
for the
but
enthusiasm to always be there.
There's going to be some, I wouldn't say exciting times, but there's going to be some different times ahead when men and women get honest with themselves about what they're looking for. I went to Jamaica recently, and a guy brought his wife there to be with another man.
Okay, so we're gonna pause that
You
right
watch?
there
No, I
because
don't know, but it happens.
okay. So what
We
I
got closing
okay,
thoughts is what we got.
we want to talk about heartbreak. Give us your final thoughts on heartbreak, and we're gonna record
And how
after
we deal
this.
with
But
it.
we've gone on over an hour, and I think we've gone a lot into relationships.
Yeah.
So final thoughts on men and heartbreak. That's what our viewers want to know.
How men deal with the heartbreak?
Yeah.
Well, you asked him that
It-
already.
well-
So just
Final
kind of
thoughts.
finalize
Well,
it.
final
Yeah.
thoughts.
yeah.
It's listen, anything to do with the heart, it's gonna hurt. Mentally, you have to remain focused and either, like I said, sit down, talk about the hurt. Why are we hurting? Do you wanna work on it? It has to, just like how we got into this together, now we're going through a little hump or whatever the case may be. What are we going to do about it? If you want it to be done and over, let me know why so I can move on and be a better somebody so I don't repeat the same foolishness again with somebody else because I lost you.
Okay. So Mark, any final thoughts on heartbreak?
I think men need closure.
Yes.
Closure, and the closure we're talking about is, okay, why didn't this work? They like to know that. So they can move on. And
Learn.
after it's been explored, and you're sure that she knows who you are, and you know who she is. If she wants out or you want out, run like hell. Don't look back, because you're still connected. And if there's a connection, you'll fall back with those innate desires that we have of attraction that comes with attraction. So once you've established that it's over,
Yes, separate. John.
just
Credit.
leave for a while, let things cool off. And then if that person's really a friend and there are other things about that person that you really liked or loved, then you can revisit
Absolutely.
a relationship, a friendship, which is paramount. I mean,
I love that
Yeah.
advice. I like
Some-
that advice a lot.
Yeah,
It's a
because
mature way.
Yeah.
sometimes relationships need space to grow, right?
Yes.
You need space to grow.
Yes.
But what that space is, it's not for the space for the relationship to grow. It's for you to focus on yourself. It's
Yeah.
all for
It
in,
starts
or,
with you.
in order to get over heartbreak, it's a personal thing. And you have to really start to, you ready? Love yourself again.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you can't love anybody else if you don't love
You
yourself.
always have to love yourself. I
I
totally
believe you.
agree with
And I
that.
I believe that when heartbreaks happen is because individuals have stopped loving themselves.
Yeah.
And
and for those who are the possessive type, do not give what you cannot afford to lose.
Right.
Don't give
Yeah.
anyone money that you
This you don't have.
don't borrow money and give people.
Yeah.
Don't because
Right.
you're making an investment.
Right.
Don't invest like that.
we don't give them money. You don't give women money.
No, I'm just saying. But what I'm saying.
We're gonna close.
Give-
We're
give
gonna
them money
close.
for women to
We're gonna
leave.
close.
What I'm saying to
Thank
you.
And
you
we're
so
gonna
much
read your
for tuning
comments,
in.
and after the show, read your comments and have these gentlemen respond to it. So we will air that separately. We want to thank you both for being here, and
Thank you
for
for having me.
Mark bringing your beautiful artwork, which you're
What
seeing
I want to talk
here.
about the artist.
We're gonna
And we'll
we're
go
gonna
ahead.
do a
We
separate
will.
show for the
And
art.
then, but the show, the artwork is from Mark that's sitting right here
Yeah,
next
and the
to
showtime.
us.
Showtime is.
We're gonna do a separate show to advertise.
So we're
everything
gonna
from Mark's
advertise
art.
everything, but thanks for tuning in. Keep the questions coming because we're gonna ask them to respond separately and air it as well. So
Thank
thanks
you.
for tuning in to another episode of the Caribbean Edge.
Ciao for now. Take care,
Appreciate
everybody.
you.
Very
Bye.
nice.